First Street. My name is Marcus Baker. I live in Minneapolis now, but I grew up here in Lincoln, Nebraska, and went to high school in Omaha, Nebraska. I have a 12-year-old daughter now. She was going to be here today, but she chose to go shopping with my aunt. So I can't blame her. She's heard this about 15 times, I think. She just turned 12. She's going to school in Omaha, Nebraska right now. So I still have plenty of family and friends here in town, so I come back often. I did graduate from the University of Nebraska, bachelor's degree in environmental science and master's degree in community planning. And I actually did that for about 10 years. I was a city planner working for local governments for about 10 years and really enjoyed that profession. But I have other hobbies and interests, and health and wellness is definitely a part of that. In fact, I have more experience in health and wellness in my life and just teaching other people about it than I do in my master's degree and all my experience at work. So, fitness and nutrition have always been a big part of my life. What in the world brought me here? Why is a city planner now talking about water? I had an experience this last summer that just totally changed my life. Like I said, I've always been in nutrition and wellness, but I felt like there was still this missing puzzle to it all, a missing piece to the puzzle to it. So what I'm doing now is very meaningful to me. I'm very passionate about what I'm doing, and it kind of took me away from kind of what my goals and purposes were before, and really redirected things. Now I'm really working to improve other people's physical health, and I'm referring them to a life-altering technology, as I call it. It's because that's what it did for me. I'm referring that to families and their friends and even businesses and businesses' employees and their clients. Because I've seen this change a lot of people's lives, this information. And why is it changing so many people's lives? Why am I doing this for other people? Because I see in society and in our culture today that health and wellness is, we have good intentions, but I see it going the wrong direction. And all the articles I read, cancer rates going up. I looked at this myself, and I consider myself to be a very healthy person to begin with. But I looked at this list of things and problems, and I had 9 of these on this list myself. And I was like, wait a minute, I thought I was eating right, I was eating all organic food, working out, biking all the time, but still, fortunately it wasn't any of the major things on this list, but I still had 9 things on this list, and I wanted to know why. And here's some of the statistics I think you've all been seen over the years. And where the direction we're going as Americans, it's projected by 2050 that we're looking at 1 in 2 Americans that are going to be diagnosed with cancer. We're right now closing in on 1 in 3. And that's just a scary statistic to me. And then diabetes is the same way. I have my grandfather had diabetes. I have my aunt that's been diagnosed with diabetes, a type 2 late onset. And that was what really drove me to be eating right and working out. I don't want anything to do with diabetes in the future, or cancer for that matter, or anything else. So I've been very proactive with that and trying to learn as much as I can. So anybody in here think maybe, I think our country does a really good job on disease management, on emergency care. I mean, we're like top of the world in those things. It's really amazing how well our healthcare system does take care of those aspects. But as far as the preventative side of things, as far as trying to take care of some of these issues before we have to end up in a critical situation, I think we can do a lot better job with that. I think the last number I saw was we're like high 30s as far as ranking in the world for countries that have excellent health and longevity. So the quality of life and the longevity of our life, we're just not doing so well with that compared to the rest of the world. And I'd like to see us do better. So what is the rest of the world doing? They're focusing more on preventative care. They're trying to take care of themselves before they get sick. I've done a lot of research, reading a lot of books over the years. I've found that these three things on the screen, these three symptoms, these are three root causes, are really what starts all chronic illness and disease. Dehydration is huge. I think the quantity of water we're drinking, as well as the quality, is both like really paramount. I've seen a lot of articles where it says that Americans are just chronically dehydrated. And so just getting enough water in a day to kind of keep replenishing the fluids in our body is really key. Oxidation, anybody know what oxidation is? You cut an apple in half, cut an avocado in half, whatever fruit, you cut something in half and it starts to turn brown, right? That's oxidation. That is now like aging, a rusting process. Oxidation actually occurs at the cellular level as well. So our cells are actually going through that oxidation process. Acidosis is another key a root cause for a lot of the problems. And that's just our body's pH levels are starting to go too low for what's normal for our bodies. So I think we all know a lot of these things I'm going to put up on the screen here as far as what we can do to be proactive in our health. And these are things I was doing for years and years and years. And they help. I think everything on this list is a very beneficial thing, but we hear about it all the time. No smoking, or stop smoking, exercise, eat right. Those are all, get fresh air, get vitamin D from the sun, laugh a lot, sleep a lot. Those are all good things. But what we don't hear much about is water. Why is water important? Now let me come back to that. I want to introduce what. How many people in here think water is just water? Just to show it is. I get this a lot. I get this a lot. The water is just water. What in the world are you talking about? Has anybody ever heard of electrolyzed reduced water? Or ionized water? Hydrogen-rich water, antioxidant water. There's many different names. Actually, electrolyzed reduced water is probably the highest of all of the latest names because it has these 4 unique properties to it. It's hydrogen-rich. It's actually a hydrogen gas that's dissolved into the water. There's also oxygen gas that's dissolved into the water. The water molecule is actually restructured, and it's also alkalized. And I'll get more into all those things here in a bit. So back to my original question, why water? Why is this important? Why have we not heard of this before? Why do you think water is all the same thing? Our body is primarily composed of water. Depending on our age, I think when we're born, we're kind of more at this 90% range. And then as we age and we get close to dying, it gets more to 65%. We start to lose that water, and that's why wrinkles are happening and all that. But everything that happens in our body happens through water. There is no function of our body at all happens on its own it's separate from water. So our blood is mostly water, our brain is mostly water, all of our organs, tissues, even our bone, is partially water. So how much should we be drinking? I was talking about that chronic dehydration. You should at least be drinking a minimum of 50% of your body weight in ounces every day. And I think the old kind of adage on that was 6 to 8 cups a day. And that just doesn't make much sense. I mean, to me, I shouldn't be drinking as much as my 12-year-old daughter. Or somebody who's, we're all different. We're all different body sizes, and weight, and everything. So why should we all drink 6 to 8 cups of water? Really go back to that 50% of your body weight in ounces every day and try to get up to 75%. Especially if you're active. There's water systems that are actually designed to produce electrolyzed water. And this has been around for a long time, actually. It seems like a new thing, because not many people have heard about this, I didn't see very many hands go up at all. I said, who knows about electrolyzed water? It's been around for, well, the technology's been being developed by Japan since about 1965. But it's been around a lot longer than that. Electrolysis itself started, I believe, in the 1800s. And has been used for several different purposes, and was used in the military way back in World War I. It's been used for many different things, but the Japanese kind of took the technology about 50, how many years ago was that now, 50? And really started to develop it and try to get it more towards what can we do for this for health. And it was really after World War II that they kind of grasped onto that and started running with that. And again, those things up on the screen are kind of the difference in what this is about. I want to talk about molecular hydrogen first. This is that hydrogen gas that's dissolved into the water. This is the primary therapeutic benefit of electrolyzed reduced water. And why is that? It's a very powerful antioxidant. And not many people knew that. I mean, in fact, a lot of the research on this hasn't been done until about 2007. It was just kind of considered an inert gas. It wasn't, nobody knew really what to do with it outside of it being very explosive in its own. But they used it in electrolysis and kept it at a manageable level and dissolved it into water. It actually works as a very powerful antioxidant. And as you can tell, on the sizes of different antioxidants that are out there, it's very, very small. Hydrogen's the smallest atom there is on the chemical chart. What is that chart called from chemistry? I'm trying to remember. the atomic chart. I mean, it's only 2 on that, whereas the others are very big, very heavy. So it can penetrate anything in your body. It can penetrate your DNA, your RNA, the blood cell, the blood-brain barrier. Very few things can do that. So this is very important because it does work as an antioxidant. The other really important thing is it's working as something to stimulate your body to produce its own antioxidants, which your body naturally does. Your body does that more when you're young. As you age, it starts to create less and less. This H2 gas will actually stimulate that and have your body create more of the glutathione, the catalase, the superoxide dismutase. So I find that really incredible. They've done a lot of studies on this in the last 8 years now, and they're finding that it does help with diabetes, which is exciting news for me because my family does have that history. But what I watched my grandfather go through for so many years is that it really wasn't the diabetes that eventually killed him, it was the degeneration of the rest of his organs in his body. I mean, he just, for about 15 years, just gradually kept having that collateral damage done to his organs. So this would have been really exciting for him to try at that point when this was all happening. But now I want to share this with everybody else, and I can't help him, I want to help everybody else. This is really exciting news. And also with cancer, they're finding that there is potential benefits for cancer, either preventing it or preventing the reoccurrence of it, or getting tumors to stop or preventing the development of those tumor cells. This is where a lot of my research has come from on molecular hydrogen. I definitely encourage you all to I can get these websites to you later or do some more research on your own with this. It's really exciting stuff. As far as the pH goes, this is also really important with this electrolyzed water. A lot of the books I've read in the past have alluded to this or really done their research towards this, and that if you change your body's pH or bring it back into balance to what it should be, which is supposed to be slightly alkaline, then your body's really able to heal itself. It's not this water. It's no water that's going to heal you. But if you can put your body back into balance, whether it's with pH or antioxidants versus free radicals, whatever you can do to help your body get that balance, your body's going to give back to you in energy and health. This is old research here. This is Dr. Otto Warburg actually won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1931 for this research on what conditions of your body basically breed cancer. And acidosis and that oxygen depletion is actually the two basic conditions. And where you have one, you have the other. So what the water is kind of designed to do is take your body away from those two conditions. This is also a lot more research that's being done today. Dr. Hiro Nishinya, a Japanese doctor, he's actually one of the top doctors in the entire world, one of the top 5. And he invented the colonoscopy. He co-invented the colonoscopy. He invented the polypectomy. Saying all those things right. And he's treated hundreds of thousands of patients around the world. And he always does two things. I've read both of his books here. He does two things. He works with their diet. He has a very strict plan on what they should be eating. He also has a very strict plan on what they should be drinking. And electrolyzed reduced water is one of those things, and he requires that for 30 days, every day for 30 days before he sees his patient for the procedure. And I've seen the results are kind of graphic. But I've seen the results on our video and pictures, and it is very, very contrasting, very big improvements before they even go in to help these people out. I think the biggest, obviously the biggest thing on the screen here is that he's had 0 reoccurrences of cancer out of all those hundreds of thousands of people. So he's doing something right with that, whether it's the water or the food or what it is. And then Dr. Corin Allen, she's done a lot of research on brain function and Alzheimer's, autism, Asperger's. She works with kids primarily and trying to work with those general conditions of the brain. And she's a huge advocate of this kind of water. So let me show you a few things, because this is all kind of hard to believe. So I try to do a little science for people to show them what the differences are. And this is why water is not just water. These colors don't come out of these containers. I have the pH drops that anybody remembers their chemistry class from college or high school. pH drops basically are showing what the pH level is of a liquid. And each one of these has the pH drops in it already. And if you remember from chemistry class, it's that yellow to orange to red that's an acidic color. So each one of these here, all the way down the line to the smart water, these are all acidic. Just general, this is a reverse osmosis water. Dasani is the same way. Not picking on any brands here, just trying to find clear liquids. This is Gatorade. It's the only clear liquid of Gatorade I could find. Sprite, of course, is quite acidic. Fitness water blew me away when I first saw this, that it's acidic. And I've got the numbers up on the screen there. This is vitamin water. It's a little bit cloudy, but you still kind of get the general color there, where it's orange. Smart water is a little bit better. It's kind of greenish, so that's more. I think I've got it up on the screen as to what that is. 5.9 pH, so still slightly acidic. And then my water bottle here, this is what I drink all the time. This is the electrolyzed water. This is the brand of it is Cogman water. And that is, you get into that blue, purple, dark purple range, that's an alkaline pH. So your body's supposed to be slightly alkaline. So what happens when you drink what happens when you drink a Gatorade? It doesn't happen that fast. But what's happening is you're acidifying your body. You drink Sprite, you drink any of these things that are acidic, and it's acidifying your body. Now your body is very good at buffering that. I mean, your body is set up and designed to take a lot of, trying to balance out your pH and keep your pH levels in a very narrow range. Your respiratory system is meant for that. Your kidneys are meant for that. There's 4 different buffering systems. But what we're doing every day is we have so much acidity coming into our body that our body's constantly fighting that. And if it's constantly fighting that, then the immune system, something else in your body is not getting enough energy to try to do what it needs to do, like the immune system, for example. So what happens if we use electrolyzed water? What's the effect of that? Suddenly, I'm going to skip those guys. Hold on. Suddenly those acidities start to go back the other direction. Some of these change easier than others. Actually, the fitness water, I'm sorry if some people can't see all this. Even the vitamin water, the Gatorade, these take about 20 to 32 ounces of alkalized water to get them back to neutral. So this doesn't change your stomach's pH, and that's kind of a direct thing with that. But once again, with a soda or something, it'll instantly destroy what you've done with that. And it only takes a little bit. So I tell people the pHs because that, keeping your body in the right pH level is important. The other thing that's extremely important is that oxidation I was talking about earlier. A liquid's either an oxidant, aging, rusting, or it's an antioxidant. So what's going to help your body more? Something that's an oxidant or an antioxidant? Excellent. I think you guys are learning here. So everything that's a positive number up on the screen there, on this column, is oxidizing. And the higher that number is, the more oxidizing that solution is. Anything that's a negative number is an antioxidant. And this is the only one on the screen that's an antioxidant, is that electrolyzed water. And that's measured differently depending on the source water. I think here in Lincoln I measured that to be about negative 500. And in Minneapolis I'm getting about negative 800. So it depends on the source water with that. Getting it right out of the machine to do that. That's the other really important part of the equation. So what are the benefits of drinking high pH alkalized water? I got to do some more science here too, so don't worry. What are the benefits of drinking this? And there is differences. There's an alkaline water and there's an alkalized water. And I always try to tell people the difference of that because there is a significant difference. You either change a solution's pH chemically, or with electrolyzed water, you're changing it electrically. And that's a huge difference because chemically you're changing it, and those chemicals tend to build up in your body. It may not completely flush out. You may have some other problems that start developing from alkaline water solutions that are done chemically. I'm not saying it will, there has been that happen to people in the past. Electrically, which is what this is that will change very quickly. You saw how quickly that this pH changed when I put a little bit of Sprite in there. Your body does the same thing. It can change that pH immediately to what it needs it to be. But there's still a lot of benefits to drinking this and helping reduce the stress on your body's buffering systems. And people that have diabetes and have respiratory disease or have kidney disease, that's a huge deal because their buffering systems are already significantly damaged and not able to help you adjust those pHs as easily. Prevention of cavities, dentists actually love this stuff when they learn about it. Possible prevention of bone loss and faster hydration. This is where I want to do a little more science here. People don't believe this either when I tell them. And I have to tip into my own water bottle. So this is green tea. Trader Joe's special. How do you make tea? Anybody make tea in here? Steve, what kind of water? Hot water. Yeah, somebody said hot water. Why do you use hot water other than maybe it's a cold day? I don't have tap water with me, so we'll just use this reverse osmosis water. You try to make tea with just regular water, and hopefully you guys can see this, but there's not much to see right now. But that doesn't really make tea. And the reason you heat water to make tea is it actually reduces the size of the water molecule. Just like when water freezes, it expands, when it heats, it shrinks. And so that water molecule becomes smaller. I told you earlier that this water molecule in electrolyzed water is actually restructured. And people don't usually believe that either. But it's like, I haven't even dipped this, I haven't even done anything with the tea bag and it's made instant tea. And the reason that is that restructuring of the water molecule. It's a smaller molecule. It has that molecular hydrogen in it that can penetrate anything. So it's not just important that this water can make tea instantly. This is just to kind of show that, but some people think that, oh, the tea bag's wet, so now that's why I make tea. Let's go back to this again. See if this will do it now. It's still a big difference. So, why is that important? Why is it important that can penetrate those tea leaves? Because it's doing the same thing in your body. I mean, it's hydrating you faster. It's delivering nutrients to your body. Because it just took that green tea and extracted the nutrients, extracted the flavor, it smells like green tea. It extracts everything. And a lot more effectively and a lot more efficiently. And so what that's doing is not only getting your body hydrated faster, but it's also, if anybody use supplements or protein powders or you're eating well already, you guys are all health and wellness and you're probably eating very well. So it's important because once again, your body is using water to deliver those nutrients. And so if that water is actually more capable of absorbing those nutrients and those enzymes and the proteins and all that, and then your body's actually receiving it. It's called bioavailability. And then the third major component to that is you're also detoxing faster. So when your cells take in fluid, it's bringing in the nutrients and bringing in the oxygen. When the fluid leaves your cells, it's taking away toxins. It's taking away CO2. So those are three of the biggest things for me, because I've been doing protein powders and supplements for years, and now all that money I'm spending on that is actually being utilized better. More science. I love my science experiments. What happens when you combine oil and water? Separate. Yeah, it goes to the top. Right? This is sesame oil, another Trader Joe's special. I'm partial. I've worked there. How much time I got, Rachel? Make sure I'm not.
I have to go up there and look.
You just tell me if I start going over here.
12:07.
I can talk for it. All right, so this pH of water is actually 11.5. So this is a very strong alkaline water. before I pour that on that oil, I want to show you what it can do for your food. You can drink this. I mean, it's not, there's nothing bad that comes from it. I mean, I only drink, if I'm going to drink it, I'll just drink 2 or 3 ounces at a time. But your body doesn't really need that high a pH. But I drink a 9.5 pH, and that's very sufficient. I mean, that's what this is. So, how do you clean your fruits and vegetables? Hopefully you clean your fruits and vegetables. We're just going to do this to tomatoes really quick. They come out here. I'm out of Aquafina, so I'm going to use Smart Water. That's probably the best. Those are more. So we'll just let them soak there for a minute. I'll use this 11.5 on the other one. And back to our oil. While we're waiting on that for a second, I'll show you what that water is actually doing to those tomatoes right now. So everybody said that oil and water separate, right? You can do this without touching. Ever seen oil and water just mix? Smells like a Thai kitchen in here now. I don't know. Did everybody see that all right? I mean, it just totally emulsifies the oil. It mixes it. There is no separation. And this is just water. I'll drink it, I swear. I won't die. I just keep it in a dark bottle because the properties of the water, you know, after about a week or a week and a half, the pH will start to lower a little bit, or the antioxidants will start to escape. Hydrogen gas penetrates anything. I mean, it penetrates a plastic bottle. That's why you can't really sell this in stores in a bottle, because the hydrogen will escape the bottle. I have another experiment that shows that, but I won't do that today. So, back to those tomatoes. I want to drain the liquid off of there. So this is the tomatoes rinsed in just regular water. Pretty much looks like clear water to me. And this one is the one that's washed in 11.5. This isn't green tea. But I mean, you can see like a dramatic difference between those two. And does anybody have any idea what this is? I'm sure you do. Pesticides, right. Why doesn't regular water take off pesticides? Why do you buy veggie wash at the store? You know, why does tap water not work? Because insecticides, herbicides, fungicides, all insecticides are oil-based. They're all petrochemical-based. And so every time it rains, they don't want to be reapplying those pesticides to the crops every single time it rains. So they use a petrochemical base on the chemicals. But what that means is your tap water isn't taking them off. It isn't taking that off. But since 11.5 pH actually emulsifies oil, it will emulsify that pesticide and strip it clean from your fruits and vegetables. You can even taste it. I mean, if you pass these around, add them to your salads, you ought to finish your salads. But I mean, you can pass these around. I think this one's the tap water. If I can mix those up. And then the second one is the electrolyzed one. And you can even notice the taste. I cook with this all the time. I prepare my vegetables. I cook rice. I try to do as much as I can with this because it just really brings out the flavor of everything. really delivers the nutrients and then gets all the added junk out there. Yeah, so this is 11.5, and the electrolyzed water machine that I use makes 7 different pHs of water. So that's just one of them that makes. So I have an unlimited supply of that. So I think that's all the science that I had for you. I really enjoyed this quote by Tony Robbins this week. I was reading one of his books. He's a big inspiration to me. And he was saying that conventional wisdom is that knowledge is power. But he was kind of arguing that, going, well, knowledge is only potential power. That knowledge is only powerful if you decide on that, if you act on that, and then it becomes powerful, because then it's changing your life. This water is produced from an electrolysis machine. It's about the size of a coffee maker, and it just attaches to your tap water source. So I have mine hooked up to my kitchen faucet. And I did a lot of research before I bought my unit. And these were the questions I asked myself. It was I probably spent I think about 6 or 8 weeks trying to decide what to do, because I absolutely loved this water and what it was doing for me. These are more or less a list of questions that I had. I'm happy to talk with anybody. I have my cards up front here. I didn't decide to really do business with this company until after I bought my machine, and I was telling everybody I knew about it already, and realized that there was, as you saw on my background, business and marketing was never part of my education, so I really didn't have any interest in doing this for a career. But once I had my machine and was using it for a long time, I decided I wanted to educate people and tell everybody else about it. So if you have questions for me after this, don't want to contact me and ask these questions, or ask these questions to whomever. I mean, you may already know people in your life that have something like this and they want to know more about it. So, yeah, I appreciate everybody's time today. I don't think I have any more slides. So, yeah, if you have any questions, I'll stick around for a while, and I really appreciate everybody being here.
So where were you getting the water before then you got your
I was never a big fan of bottled water, because my environmental science background that I had really made me leery of doing bottled water and just having all that waste. So I was just generally drinking tap water, and that's all I ever had before. I was introduced to this through my chiropractor in Minneapolis, and he had one of these electrolysis machines in his lobby for all of his clients to use. And once I started using that, it was becoming harder and harder for me to drink tap water. This is all I drink now, because I've kind of got to be a little bit of a water snob, I guess. Yeah, I was just doing tap water before, but that I just felt was always my weak link in my wellness plan was the water I was drinking, because once again, a water science and even a city planning background, I knew what was in the tap water as far as chemicals that have to be added, and those are necessary. I mean, chlorine and different things to bring the pH up to 7. All the chemicals that are added to kill things that are in our source water is really necessary, but we got to get that out first. Doing that filtration process is really important. So, at the very least, I mean, you want to drink filtered water, but this just took it to a whole nother level. I mean, having those unique properties of this water with the antioxidant, the alkalized portion, the structured water, and the dissolved oxygen. And I didn't really talk much about the dissolved oxygen, but I drink this, I'll drink 24 ounces as soon as I get up in the morning, and it just lights me up. Because that oxygen just hits my brain right away. And so does the hydrogen, and it just I don't drink coffee in the morning, I don't drink energy drinks anymore, I never drink soda, but it just feels like I don't need those kind of things in my life anymore, because this just gives me a ton of energy, or it gives my body the ability to have that energy.
So how expensive is one of these machines?
They're an investment. I mean, they last 20, 30 years, but I always talk to people about what their needs are, because there's different models of these, and there's different companies, and it just depends on what your needs are and what you're looking for. But I financed mine for $40 a month, and I was spending that already in different things. I didn't talk about a lot of the other pHs of the water that it makes, but it's actually pretty unbelievable what it does. I mean, 11.5 is one of them, but it also makes a very strong acidic water. And I use that for all of my cleaning and disinfecting in my house now. It's an electrochemical, the exact terminology is not science-wise, but it uses a saline solution, adds chlorine to hydrogen and oxygen, and makes hydrochlorous acid. And it's very, very powerful. It kills staph, it kills E. coli, it kills salmonella, it kills strep. I sorted through it a couple times over the winter, and I just like gargled that 2.5 pH a couple times, and it was like, once again, it was just gone in like 30 seconds. I don't know if that happens for everybody, but I know it kills strep in like a petri dish. So there's so many different uses to one of them that it actually made a lot of sense to finance it for myself, because I got rid of a lot of other different products and then just used this for what I was doing before.
And how long does it take to do it? Like to, I mean, yeah.
To do what?
To make, yeah, to run your process or whatever you
Oh,
do.
it's, I mean, I fill one of these up in like 5-10 seconds. It doesn't take long. It's not like it takes a long time for it to go through the system. You just turn it on and divert the water into the system, and it comes out another hose. And you just fill up, whatever water bottle you have at home. So if I'm going on a trip, I'll take a gallon. Yeah, it's just basically running it straight through, so there's no waiting for it. It's trickling out or something like that.
So you take a gallon, say you're going to work for a week, and it's not really all that convenient for a gallon of water. It's okay to drink tap water and it comes back.
I got my gallon in here because it's glass gallons are hard to find, and I try to keep it in a glass container when I can. But yeah, since I came down to Lincoln from Omaha, I just wanted to make sure I had enough to last me through while I'm here. So, but I can also take this electrolysis unit anywhere. It's very portable. I brought mine down to Lincoln, so I don't actually have to worry about that. I just hook it up to whatever tap water source. It's very portable, so it's not like this big heavy thing that you can't move around. I don't have it with me. I should have brought it. It's hooked up in my grandma's house right now. Hopefully she's using it.
Marcus, you talked about at the very least that we should be drinking filtered water. Is there like a certain brand that you recommend? Because I know the Aquafina is on the pretty high, the low pH range. Is there a different one?
Yeah, a lot of people talk about reverse osmosis water, and I think it's become a big thing. But it does awesome at taking everything bad out of the water, but it also takes everything good out of the water, which is my only hang up with that. It's taking the minerals out as well, and you need those minerals, because if you're putting reverse osmosis water in your body without remineralizing it, then over time it kind of starts to strip some of those minerals away. And they've done a lot of studies on that, and actually it's being banned in different countries now because of that, because it's had health problems that people have had. But filters, the machine I have actually has a filter in it, and it's like a double carbon block antibacterial filter. So I think those types of filters are really good, and I don't know what brands have those exactly, but kind of look for that, those higher end filters, because and fluoride's really hard to take out of the water, and I know that's a big debate. My mother will just absolutely fight me tooth and nail on taking fluoride out of the water. So it's one of those debates where you kind of look at what your source water is and try to figure out what is it you want to have removed from the water yourself personally. It's kind of a personal decision. So make that decision for yourself, and then kind of gear your filtration system towards what you want removed. I mean, even with my electrolysis machine that I have right now, I can hook up a pre-filtration system to it, and then the cleaner that water coming into my machine is, the better, higher quality it will be coming out. If that helps answer that. pump them away.
What about the difference between the filters in your refrigerator water compared to your water just out of your faucets? I mean, that's better than drinking your water faucet water,
Sure, I
isn't it?
mean, I don't know what all the filters are out there for refrigerators, but yeah, I mean, if they're at least getting the chlorine out, I think that's like the bare minimum, just to get that chlorine out of the water. Because there's a lot of studies done on chlorine, and kind of the damaging effects that it does to your body.
So I use that for my cooking and everything. I hardly ever use my
I have-
dishwasher.
I don't know if I can do this or not. I don't have tap water with me. I'll show you chlorine in tap water. I have different
I
drops
can-
for that if you want to see.
I can get some tap water.
Okay. Or do you have some tap water? Do I have a volunteer for this? Does anybody else have any tap water? No, I'm going after everybody else's tap water. Yeah, that's planning on doing this. This detects chlorine in water. I should do this twice. Anybody else have any more tap water? To do this accurately. Sure. It's not filtered, right? Well, we'll find out soon. So basically what these drops do is it detects chlorine in a solution. So I use these at times to figure that out. Hey, your ice machine has a filter on it.
Yeah.
Excellent. So that would have turned yellow if there was chlorine in it. So there's some good news.
Here's some.
You got tap water there?
From upstairs, to the ice.
Oh, just joking.
We have blue water here.
See if I can do this without.
We have chlorine-free water here.
Well, since we know this is tap water and we know that there's chlorine in it, does anybody want to volunteer? Or you want to volunteer? Sure. Just hold 3 fingers in that water for a minute, or 4, whatever you want. Just don't tip it over. So I usually do this experiment with like an onion, but I don't have an onion with me. So essentially what the experiment is showing is that I have Kurt with me.
This is terrible.
So the reason I don't cook with tap water is because if I use my vegetables and stuff, it will absorb whatever's in that water into the fruit and vegetable, especially vegetables, I think. There's certain vegetables that are more porous than others, and it'll take in that chlorine. What are you gonna do? Thank you, Kurt. That's it. You want a paper towel? Oh, we're good. I got pants. So, since we know this is tap water, and I apologize that we don't have more so I can show you the difference, but this should turn yellow, but it's not. And why is it not? Because it's now in Kurt's fingers. The chlorine just absorbs into your skin, just like an onion, just like anything you take. I can't even take a shower anymore after I saw this. I had like a filter on my shower. So, that's what chlorine does. It just really soaks right in your skin, or soaks into an onion, or soaks into whatever you're washing it. So you polluted me. I polluted you. My best friend. How could I do this? So, any other questions? I think I'm like Mr. Wizard.